If you run a law firm, this is the most valuable hour you'll spend this year. I have been doing SEO for over 14 years and I have personally taken law firms from zero to thousands of qualified leads a month. Today I'm going to show you the exact system I use to rank these law firms number one on Google, but rebuilt around Claude. I'll be sharing everything from keyword research to backlinks to local SEO to on-page SEO, anything and everything that's required to make this a successful SEO campaign. By the end of this video, you'll have the exact system I charge 6 figures a month to deploy onto your own firm. Comment lawyer and I'll send you every checklist, every prompt that I use or talk about in this video, so you'll have all the ammunition that you need to make this a successful campaign. Now let's get into the video. The first part of a successful SEO campaign is targeting the right SEO keywords. So this is, for example, one of the clients that we are working with, and you can see personal injury lawyer in their city. They're ranking fairly well. And another business we are working with, we literally took them from zero traffic to 1,000 clicks, $2.8 million in revenue, all of this from organic search. Another business we are working with, you can see on the Google business profile side, they went from 200 calls in December to 300 plus calls in January. So these are some of the ones. Another one, you can see they went from literally 500 plus traffic to 1200 plus traffic or daily organic search traffic, and all of these are SEO numbers. And by the way, if you want similar results like these, you can come to alventramarketing.com and click on the get started button. If you don't want to do all of this yourself, let my team take care of all of this and get you great results like these. In this video, I'll anyways give you all of the system and ammunition to make it happen for you. So the first part of the system is looking at keywords and what are the keywords that you should target. So let's start with what are some of the types of keywords that we need to take a look at. So for any local business, if you see, there are a few different type of keywords. So we will take car accident lawyer Houston as one of the examples that we are going to analyze in this particular course, so that it's consistent and you can understand. So first type of keyword is the one with commercial intent. Commercial intent keywords would be the ones like car accident lawyer Houston, where people are looking to purchase some sort of a service from you. The second one would be informational. So informational is where people are looking to get some sort of information. So if they are asking some questions around this, like for example, if we just do car accident lawyer for a second, and not even lawyer, just car accident. So let me just pull up car accident here in Ahrefs. And if you don't know, this software is called Ahrefs. So there are two major SEO software, Ahrefs and Semrush, and both are equally good. So you can go with any one of them. I have been using Ahrefs lately, but I've also started using Semrush. So the link to Semrush would be in the description. You can use either of them. They are very, very good. For this purpose, I'm just using Ahrefs, but you'll find the same options in both of the softwares. So here, when I search for a broader term like car accident lawyer, you can see all of the questions. Like, so these are the questions like, do I need a lawyer for a car accident? If you see here, or what does a car accident lawyer do? Do I need a lawyer for a car accident? These are what we call as informational keywords. So right, so this is the second type of keyword. Then there is one more type of keyword, which is navigational / what I call as a branded keyword. So for example, for this particular keyword, Johnson Garcia LLP personal injury. So if someone is searching for car accident lawyer Houston Johnson Garcia, they already know who Johnson Garcia is, and they're just using Google to transfer from Google to their website. That is all they're using Google for. So that is what something is not I would call SEO traffic. That is something I would just call as a navigational traffic. They're just using Google to find you. That's all they're doing. So the goal of SEO is to bring you in front of people who have a problem, who want a solution, and who do not know you already exist. That is the goal of SEO. So for us, if you are a personal injury lawyer, the goal would be for us to rank for keyword like car accident lawyer Houston, and to rank for these. And in addition to these informational and navigational or branded keyword, if we rank for these as an addition, that's a bonus. But the goal from an SEO perspective is to rank for these commercial terms, so that we can actually make more money. So if you want, we can add some examples here. So a commercial term would be car accident lawyer Houston here. This is an example. An informational keyword example would be, what does a car accident lawyer do? And it's also one thing we have to understand, which has become very important, is the informational keyword these days are going away very fast, because AI is actually answering more of them very quickly. So if you ask something like, what does a car accident lawyer do? And let's do this exercise together, you will see that the Google AI mode is directly answering this right here, right? So the reason for people to actually click over and come to your website in order to read that content has become more and more less right now. So earlier, questions like these and FAQs like these used to be very, very important. They are very important even now from an SEO perspective, just to establish yourself as topical authority in that space. And they do still get cited, but YouTube is being cited more, you can see, for this particular keyword, but for other keywords they do get cited a lot. So they're important to get more visibility. But one more thing important that you have to understand is people searching for informational keyword, they can be searching from any part of the world, right? So they do not necessarily will be in the exact locations that you want them to be calling. But someone searching for car accident lawyer Houston would probably be in the service area or in the geography that you want them to be, and they are the ideal clients that would get you the most cases. So these would be the commercial, this would be the informational, and navigational or branded keyword would be something like car accident lawyer or Houston, and just add some sort of a branded term behind it, or the Johnson Garcia LLP. This becomes now a branded keyword. So these are some of the examples. So for us, the first thing that we want to see is commercial keywords. How do we look at commercial keywords and what sort of analysis that we do? And later in the video, I'll also show you how do we use Claude now in order to speed up the research process. But the reason why I am showing you by doing everything manually first is you need to understand the basics, because without knowing the basics, if you just use Claude, you will not understand if it's hallucinating or if it's giving you incorrect data. So it's important for you to first do it manually to understand, okay, this is how it's done, this is how you have to interpret the data, and then you can use Claude in order to make sense of that data. So first thing first, when you load this keyword in the keyword explorer page, you will see a keyword difficulty score. So for this keyword, it says 30 out of 100. I will take this score with a grain of salt because this number is sometimes off as well. So we will make our own judgment by looking at what sites are ranking there and what sort of competition we are up against. So another score that is a very critical score here, this is called domain rating, DR. So DR is an individual score for each site, and it's a score out of 100. So in short, if I tell you, it's like an authority score out of 100. So for at a super lawyers, I'm sure you have heard of it if you're in the legal industry, they have an SEO score of 88, and they are, I'm assuming, more like a directory site. So they have invested a lot into SEO, so their SEO score is 88. Then there is Terry Brand, their SEO score is 40. Another one is Johnson Garcia Law, who's ranking there, their SEO score is also 22, then 27, 12, and so on. So for us, one important thing that you have to understand is you have to pick your competitors correctly as well. So if you are a local business, if you are a smaller personal injury firm, your competitor would be businesses similar as to you. So if there is a Reddit thread ranking here, if there's a YouTube video ranking here, or if there is super lawyers or Justy or things like that, they will naturally have much higher domain rating, because they are a directory, they have been doing SEO for so long. So you do not have to necessarily compete with them, you have to compete with other similar businesses. So yes, our competition would be Terry Brand and Johnson Garcia Law, and their domain rating score is 40 and 22. So how do I see 40 and 22 score? Anything above domain rating 20 and above is a decent competition. So if you're seeing sub domain rating 20 scores, that's good news for you, that okay, if you're seeing in the top 3 or top 4 sites that are ranking with sub DR score of 20, that generally means it's moderately competitive. If there are sites ranking above DR 20, if above DR 40, it generally means it is definitely competitive. So what that means is, it's not that you cannot rank, it may take you a bit longer just in general to rank. So here I see, okay, these are the ones that are ranking. Now I want to take a look at, let's open up Johnson Garcia, and you can click on the overview page here, and this will pull up their whole site and what all keywords they rank for, and we can just reverse analyze them to understand, okay, what is it that they're doing. So because you are a personal injury lawyer, I'm sure you don't just want to rank for car accident lawyers, but you also want to rank for personal injury lawyers and truck accident lawyers and all of that. So we want to see Johnson Garcia Law, because they may be a direct competitor, what all keywords they rank for. So here I will just switch to subdomains. So the moment you do subdomains, it will show you what does it rank for on the whole site. So you can see here right now it's ranking for 263 keywords, and I see over the course since May 2024, it used to to rank for like 6,000 keywords then, and has dropped to just about 200 plus keywords right now. So it has been on a massive decline. We can also look into this video on what is it that they're doing wrong and why are they declining so fast. But let's go back to May for a second and let's see what they used to rank for, because I want to see what is it that they used to rank for. So in May, if you see in the top 3, they used to rank for like 200 keywords, and on the first page they used to rank for like 800 keywords. So I'm sure if you're ranking for like 800 keywords on the first page, you would be getting decent chunk of traffic and a lot of leads. So now another thing that I like to do is I like to look at the intents, and I'll filter out only commercial and transactional intent from here, because I want to filter out all the informational intent for a second to understand how they are ranking. And I will also look at, okay, what are the keywords that are ranking between position 1 to 5 for a second, because these are the ones that will get you any clicks. So let's see. Big rig accident law firm, Houston 18-wheel accident lawyer. So one more thing I'm seeing is one way people search for is 18-wheeler accident. A construction accident lawyer is what they were ranking for, amputation lawyer, wrongful death lawyer. So as a personal injury lawyer, they had so many different services that they are going after. Let's take a look at their site as well. So this is how, as SEOs, as someone who has 14 years of SEO experience, this is how we do keyword research, is we start with one base keyword. So I started with car accident lawyer Houston, and I know that I am a personal injury lawyer, so I don't necessarily need to do the keyword research an old way where, okay, I need to make a list of all of the services that I may do and all of the location. What I can also do is reverse analyze one of our competitors and see what all keywords that they rank for, and from here I can just mark them or add them to a list, and that in itself will also give me a list of all of the keywords that I should be going after anyway. So one way is that. Another way is if you go to the top pages section here, the thing here is a lot of these keywords would be repeated. So Houston 18-wheeler accident lawyer and 18-wheeler accident lawyer Houston, these are the variation of the same keyword, right? So if you go to top pages, what it will do is it will filter out and show you the top keyword for each page. So that way you will only see one keyword per page and probably the best keyword for that page. So here, and you can see the top keywords here: car accident lawyer Houston, they were ranking for; Cypress car accident lawyer Houston; plant explosion lawyer, most dangerous. So now these are all of the keywords that they are ranking for, and you can very quickly export the whole list from here as well. So let's just export this list. And by the way, all of the prompts that I'm going to talk about in this video, you just need to comment lawyer and you'll get access to all of the prompts, so don't worry about it. So now that we have exported all of the keywords from here, let's go to Claude Cowork, and here let's start with the new chat. And by the way, if you want access to all of the prompts, just comment lawyer and you'll get access to all of it, so you don't need to worry about it. Here in Claude Cowork, what I'm going to do is give access to the CSV file, and I'll drop it here and give it some context. So I'll say I run a personal injury law firm in Houston. This is a competitor of mine, and I'm bad with spelling, so please ignore that. These are his top pages exported with top keywords. Can you make sense of this data? Let's just ask it to make sense of the data first, and that is like the simplest prompt that you give, and it will make sense because we have given it some context that we also run a personal injury law firm in Houston and this is a competitor. So just this already gives it a lot of context. So let's just look at it. May take a while for it to actually come back with all of that, but let's see how it does. So now it took a couple of minutes and it has given us the whole analysis. The only thing is it has made a lot of sense of that data, and it is showing that yes, they are dropping very significantly in all of the rankings and everything, which we saw as well. But what we actually want it to do now is actually give us a list of all of the keywords that we should be going after based on so let's ask it, based on the list that I gave you, give me a list of all the keywords we should be going after. So let's see, just by doing this, what does Claude Cowork now come up with. So what very important thing is that we gave Claude Cowork with code. You can also connect Claude Cowork through an MCP, but by doing this exercise, we were able to find this competitor, and that made our job much more easier. Instead of us going back and forth doing all of this exercise, we were able to find one right competitor, and then we just exported all of the data that it had for keyword research. Then now we have given it to Claude Cowork in order to just work for it. It may again take a few minutes. So the thing with Claude is, so you can see it has extracted 156 unique keywords, still reading the file and from the page, and there it is also tiring them by opportunity. So that's a great thing. So let's see how the overall output, and you can click here and you can see that it is reading the file and currently running command. So what I'll do is, once it comes up with the execute, I won't keep you waiting. Once it comes up with the output, I will resume the video and show you the output. Okay, now here you can see it has given us the output, and let me just move all of this around. So here is the summary. This is the output that Claude Cowork gave us with all of the analysis and what are the keywords that we should go after. So let's come back to the summary tab. First, let's look at the keywords. So P1 is big price deal, and you can see then it has also given us P2, P3. So this should be the order based on that. Claude Cowork is suggesting us to go after all of these keywords. So car accident lawyer Houston, that's one of the top keywords it wants us to go. Houston truck accident attorney 2400 search volume. Houston car wreck attorney, head-on collision accident attorney, Houston bus accident lawyer, barge accident lawyer, Galveston truck accident lawyer. So you can see, I mean, just by finding out the right competitor and giving all of that data to Claude, we did a keyword research that could have taken us weeks to complete, right? And also it has categorized it in the right order that we should have gone into. I'm sure there's, from a strategy point of view, we can go into and manually vet each of these keywords, and we can check if it's something that should be there or not. But just from like an 80% work perspective, the work has already been done by Claude Cowork here, and then we can refine it the next 20% and we can get a sense of all of this. But this is great work just from, and you can see the competitor URL, competitor status, what the intent is, why it was selected, and how do we attack it and how do we rank for it has also been selected. Now the only thing, position has also been given. One thing I would actually add to my prompt and ask Claude is to also add KD scores if that was there in. So yes, the KD score is there in the output that we export. Okay, so it's not in the top pages one. So this is where now a manual input would come into picture, where we go here and we actually do manual analysis. So let's take up a Houston truck accident attorney for example, and this is where we need to do manual analysis as an experienced SEO, because what sort of competition we are up against. So these are all of the sites that are ranking. And one thing you have to also understand is competition is always relative, right? So it depends on where your website is in the SEO journey. So if you're coming to me, for example, if we are working together and if you're working on your SEO and you already have a site that has a domain rating score of 30s, for example, then outranking a site with domain rating score of 27 is not going to be that hard, right? We just need to get the basics done right. Whereas if you're starting with SEO with a domain rating score of 0, then outranking a site with domain rating score of 27 or 36 or 44, it is possible, but it's going to take longer, right? So you have to be more patient. You have to invest for a longer time, because these competitors have reached there with the investment, with their timelines, with patience. So you'll also have to go through that journey for you to be there. So it's all about where you are in the journey of investment into SEO, in the progress of SEO. So that is why competition is always relative as well in terms of where you are. And also, how do we see and analyze the competition exactly in terms of backlinks? So this DR score is largely affected by how many high quality backlinks do we have coming to the website. So what are backlinks? How do we acquire backlinks, and how do we see how many high quality backlinks your competitors have? These are all the questions that we'll be going into the next section, which is off page SEO and the backlinks, once we come to it. But in the sense of going after the keywords, this is the best possible way. This is the quickest way, honestly. So the first step is find one keyword, which in general for a local business would be your service plus location combination. In this case, it was car accident lawyer Houston. So service would be car accident lawyer and location combination would be Houston. Then what we did was we found an exact match business to us. When I say exact match, we don't want to go after super lawyers directly. We wanted to go after Johnson Garcia Law, because they are a very similar business to us. They are a law firm, we are a law firm. So that is why we went after Johnson Garcia Law. We reversed analyze what all keywords do they rank for, and especially in the keywords, what are the commercial and transactional keywords do they rank for in the position 1 to 5 165. We analyzed their top pages. They had 166 pages. We exported all of these pages and we gave everything to Claude Cowork, and we asked Claude Cowork to give us the list of all of the keywords. Based on that data, we gave it the initial context that we run a personal injury law firm and this is one of our top competitor. So it made sense of all of that data, and based on that, it gave us all of the keywords in the order that we should be going after. Now, this is, like I said, 80% of the work done already. It's about now the next 20% of the work that needs to be done either by you or your SEO agency, or just come to us and we'll help you actually execute all of this and refine all of that data and make sense of it from a strategy point of view, ensure that Claude is not hallucinating and we are going after the right keywords. And that's how we are using Claude Cowork to ensure we are selecting the right keywords. We are going after everything in the right sense. In this segment, we are going to take a look at what are backlinks, what is off-page SEO, why backlinks are important. So before we jump into it, let's look at what backlinks are. So backlinks are basically vote of trust or confidence for Google. Google's whole algorithm is built on what we call as backlinks. So if there is another site that Google already trusts and gives organic search traffic to, if that site links out from one of their articles to another site, that is what we call as a backlink. And backlinks are of two types. One is called a do follow backlink and another one is called a no follow backlink. A do follow backlink is a link where the site that is linking out to another site is asking Google to give SEO credit for it. So if a link is do follow, basically the link juice flows from that site to the site that is being linked to. And a no follow link is where the site which is linking out to the another site is saying, okay, I'm linking out to it, but I don't want to be associated with it. So don't give it the SEO credit for it. I'm still linking out to it. So no follow link is where if it's a sponsored link or if it's a link that, let's say you want to link out to someone, but you're not very sure of the genuinity of that site, you just mark it as no follow because you don't want to be associated with it or you don't want to be penalized if it's a sponsored post or anything like that. So the links that actually move the ranking needle in 99% of the cases are do follow backlinks. So any links that we are aiming to acquire is do follow backlinks only. Now there are a lot of methods to actually acquire backlinks. This DR score, the domain rating score that we just talked about, it's basically an SEO score and authority score out of 100 as we talked about earlier in the video. This is significantly impacted by how many high quality backlinks are coming into your website from another website. So let's take a look at Johnson Garcia Law and let's dissect how many backlinks do they have coming into the website. So if you look in Ahrefs, you'll see, okay, they have 720 backlinks from 436 referring domains. But what is important is also to look under the hood to find out how many high quality backlinks do they have, because this number can sometimes be misleading. And why is something we'll find out right away. So you can see they have 720 backlinks. So what I'm going to do is apply some filters. So we only want to look at how many do follow backlinks does a website have. So we just apply do follow filter. That has reduced the number of total backlinks to 551. Now one more thing that we need to apply as a filter is one link per domain. So why that is important is the first backlink that you get from a new domain, that has the highest value. So let's say if you get a link from a site from their footer or from their sidebar, and that site has, let's say, 50,000 pages on the site. If you get linked from the footer, you get 50,000 links from that website to your website. But that does not mean, oh, you have gotten 50,000 high quality links to your website and now all of a sudden you are outranking everyone. This used to happen way back in 2013-14, but Google came out with updates and fixes to fix that, because then it was very easy to manipulate the Google core algorithm, right? One can just go to bigger site with 50,000 pages, 100,000 pages and just get that many links all of a sudden. So it's important, one link per domain, one that is one referring domain as we call it. So now as soon as we apply these two filter, it has come down to just 319 group of links. So already the number is down from 700 links to 300 links in here. But the difference between what we call just as a backlink versus a high quality backlinks is what kind of a site is the link placed on. So if you go here in the best link setting, this is the minimum criteria I consider to call a link a high quality quality link. So the site from where we are getting that backlink, the domain rating score or the SEO score of that site must be 40 and above. So the DR score must be 40, and that site itself must get 2000 monthly organic search traffic from Google. So these two criterias, if you combine, they're like top 0.1% of the site on the whole internet itself. So that is why I call these as really high quality backlinks in general. So now that I apply this filter, and if I go here and I select best links only, this is where the magic would happen, and you can see they have only 24 high quality backlinks coming into their website. Can you see the difference, right? If you didn't do this exercise, you were seeing they had 720 backlinks, and in reality they only have 24 high quality backlinks. So when you are creating an SEO strategy, you are not competing against 700 backlinks, you are only competing against 24 high quality backlink. That is where the difference in strategy and the overall experience comes into picture, and that is why I suggest you should hire us at alventramarketing.com. Just go to alventramarketing.com and click on the get started button, apply, and we'll see if we are a good fit, and we'll be able to get you results like these. But this is where that experience comes into picture, but I have laid it out everything in open for you. This is how you build a strategy, where if you are looking at just raw numbers, you'll feel like, oh, I have to get 436 referring domains, or I have to get 700 plus backlinks. And mind you, these backlinks are not cheap, right? They are $400, $500 a pop. Each links cost us like $500. So you would think like, okay, there's no way I can ever get 700 backlinks, so let's just stop investing into SEO because it's never going to work. That's not the reality of it. The reality of it is you only need 25 or 30 in this case, or let's say if we want to be double of Johnson Garcia Law, we will need 50 such high quality links to just outrank them and dominate in this space. That is how you have to look at the data. Now, how do we use Claude Cowork to actually do that analysis? So if you go here, we use this prompt and we have asked Claude Cowork to do a backlink gap analysis. So we gave this particular prompt where we asked this that you are acting as my senior SEO analyst and you have Ahrefs access, and we gave it that our keyword, for example, is roof replacement Austin. So I've given another keyword before, and I asked it that open Chrome and go to the Ahrefs keyword explorer and look for this keyword, and my domain is this one, which is J Corner Roofing. So I've also given that I own this business, and then we asked it that for filter out all of these stuff from using Ahrefs like page URL, all of that stuff, and then look at all of the sites that are ranking for this particular keyword, which is roof replacement Austin, and figure out, like I said, we were looking in the keywords explorer section, that all of the sites that are relevant to us, that are businesses, and just filter out YouTube, Reddit, Wikipedia, or directories, or all of them, because they are not a business that is relevant to us. So let's filter out all of the relevant businesses, and then it is going to do all of that exercise for us. Then it's going to apply these filters in the backlink report, which is do follow only, which we just did, and then one link per domain, and then it sorted this by DR descending order. So it's doing all of that, and then it is bucketing all of the links in these area, which is how many DR 70 plus links are there, how many DR 50 to 69 links, how many DR 30 to 49 links. All of that information is being done by Claude. So basically all of this, whatever you have done, you would have done manually. Right now we are giving it as a prompt in Ahrefs and in Claude, and being used through Ahrefs, and it's going to do all of that. So now I just show you what it is doing. It is giving up as the output. So this is what it's basically coming up with, an output which is a very, very detailed and a premium looking report. So for roof replacement Austin, you can see that these are all of the top 10 for the target keyword, the sites that are ranking, and it picked these ones because these are the ones that are relevant to our businesses. These are other service based businesses in that area, which is Austin Longhorn Roofing, Transcendent Roofing, Jamar Roofing, all of that. And it has done the exercise exactly how many referring domains do they have, in which DR tier, which is 70 plus, they've got 5 links, 50 to 69 they've got 13 links, and so on. The spam score also it has found out. And notable pattern is that, for the example, Austin Longhorn Roofing, they are using PBNs quite a lot, black hat links. Similarly, a lot of spammy links are being used by Transcendent Roofing and all of that. So a red flag is half of the competitors referring domains are PBNs and paid link networks. So this is where you have to also use and your due diligence and be very cautious that, okay, even though the competitors are using spammy link building tactics. I would not use spammy link building tactics because they would eventually get penalized, and that is when I have to be the most white hat person available as an alternative, and I would directly get pushed into top 3 anyways. So you have to do it the right way, so that when a core update comes around and they get penalized for using black hat tactics, you are already there in order to take over those stuff. But now it has done all of the aggregate metrics, which is you need medium RDs per DR tier. It is giving your target to rank top 5 as well here. So if you want to rank, you need 5 to 6 link in DR 70 plus range, you need 8 to 10 links in DR 50 to 69 range, in the DR 30 to 49 range, 9 to 11 links, and so on. One important thing though that we need to understand is Claude or any AI tool, they are just making sense of raw data that was given to it using Ahrefs or any SEO software. But that is where you have to also make sense of using your SEO experience that you have, that whether or not this data is actually reliable. Like for example, DR 0 to 29, 40 to 45 link versus I would rather get 2 more DR 50 to 69 links, which would compensate for 40 or so DR 0 to 30 links. 10 DR 0 links has almost negligible value than 1 DR 50 link, or 1 DR 50 link will have much more value and importance than like 10 or 15 DR 0 links. So this is where your experience as an SEO or an SEO strategist to come into picture, because Claude right now is just trying to make sense of that data from a mathematical point of view, and it's not making a lot of sense from an SEO point of view here. So yes, it's equally important that you look at that data from an SEO perspective. Now the other things that it's also giving you is link opportunity shortlist. So these are the sites that are linking to at least 2+ competitors. So this is also a really good thing. But again, here in this particular case, Claude itself is telling you that they're using a lot of black hat tactics. So we cannot directly just go ahead and use these sites, because we have to see if these sites actually make sense for us and should we even go after these ones. Because if our competitors, and Claude itself is saying that our competitors are very actively using black hat tactics, PBNs, all of that in order to rank, then probably it's not a very good idea to actually just blindly go after sites that are linking out to them. And I see a lot of sites with DR 0 here anyway, so I would not go after DR 0 sites anyways. My minimum criteria, like we have discussed, is for any backlink that we acquire is domain rating 40 and above, and the site must itself get 2000 monthly organic search traffic. Just go by this rule of thumb and ensure that you are not getting a link from a link farm. So a link farm is basically a site that is just built to sell links. So ensure that you are not getting a link from link farm. So these 3 criteria, DR 40 plus 2000 HS traffic. In the process of doing that, if you can find sites that are already linking out to your competitor, that's well and good. But just because if a site is linking out to your competitor, we do not want to go that route, because yes, it could be a bad link, it could be a PBN, it could be a link farm, and we don't want to be in a situation where we are getting that link only because a competitor has gotten it, and later on they get penalized and we get penalized because we were just blindly copying the links coming to their website. Also with backlinks, there is a couple of more things that you need to understand. Is one is anchor text, and second is the content, which is contextual link, I'd rather say. So let's start with anchor text. Anchor text is basically the text through which you are getting a link. So let me just open something. So here, if we open this and this link, and let me open just a couple of more links here. Yeah, this one would be a good example. Here's the truth that season, and this is the hyperlink, right? This one would be the anchor text, which is Houston motorcycle accident lawyers. This is the anchor text. So whatever text that is hyperlinked, and upon clicking that you go to that particular page, that is what is called as anchor text. Now it's very important that you choose the right anchor text, because the anchor text is what gives Google context about what is it that is being linked out to. So but at the same time, you cannot just use your keyword every time you are linking out from other sites, because then it looks spammy to Google, and it is one of the most easiest way to get penalized. Because if you are using the same anchor text or keyword rich anchor text every time, what that does does is it tells Google that you are artificially trying to manipulate the rankings, and you are trying to actively build links, and you are actively trying to use keyword rich anchors in order for you to rank for those keywords. So it's very, very important that you choose the anchor text the right way. So the easiest way is anchor text diversification. So even if you don't know anything, just go here and you can see something like this you can use, and you can throw this into Claude. Like you can just save this and ask for Claude that my main keyword is XYZ and give me an anchor text distribution. So, and it will do. So let's, if you want, if we can just try this out as well. So let me just save this image here, and let's assume our keyword was car accident lawyer Houston. So let me just do this. So if I go to new task, my keyword, and let me drag and drop this image, give me anchor text variations for this keyword, and also give your brand name. That is very, very important. So if your brand name, let's put something from here. So let's assume Johnson Garcia LLB personal injury is our brand for a second. So this is our brand, and now we have given it this exact prompt to Claude Cowork, and we will look at how it is just going to give you, and we have also given, I've downloaded this particular anchor text distribution. You can download any of it. So there's no hard and fast rule. So you have to understand that you just need to look natural, and a significant portion of it has to be branded, non-keyword rich, or category related. So let's see how it comes up with. So you can see 40% of it is giving us branded. Some of it is unique, naked links, and partial match, and brand plus keywords, long tailing, and exact match. It is just saying 1%. So it actually, what it has done, it has used this anchor text distribution. What I would suggest is look into, but generally what we do is the first link that you send and the strongest link that you send, use that as an exact match anchor text. Then after that, send branded, and then the keyword anchor repeated after at least 3 links. So the 4th or 5th link that you purchase or you send, use keyword rich one in that. So that's a general good rule of thumb. But here, and you can also just use this. So for example, if I save this one, and this is where Claude could be very, very helpful for you. So you can now use this as the guide, and let's see, based on this, it will now give you a new set of anchor text, and whatever one that actually makes the most sense for you, you can use this one. So here it is also given generic ones and primary keywords: car accident lawyer Houston, car accident lawyer, brand one, secondary keywords. So that is one very important thing to keep in mind, is you don't want to also repeat the same anchors every time. So car accident lawyer Houston, and if you want to repeat the keyword, let's say in the 5th link, just mix up that around, like Houston car accident lawyer or car accident lawyer in Houston, something like that, because it's not natural for everyone to link out exactly using the same phrase, right? So you have to think how it would look natural to Google, that okay, this site and a few different sites, how they have linked out to you differently, and that is what you have to mimic. So someone, if I am a different site, I would link out to you using car accident lawyer Houston. If I'm another site, I would rather link out to you using Houston car accident lawyer or car accident attorney in Houston, something like that. So mix up that variation, just add variation to it so that it looks absolutely natural and good to Google. So that's one part of it which is very, very important in the backlink side of it, which is anchor text. And second part is contextual link. So contextual link is a link that is coming from within the article, and contextual link is one of the highest forms of a link. So if you're getting a link from a sidebar or a footer, they do not hold the same value as a link coming in from within an article. The link coming from within an article has the highest SEO value. It gets the most SEO juice, most link juice coming in, and so you'll get the most SEO benefits from it. So if you're anytime looking to get a backlink, always try and aim for a contextual link coming in from other article. The reason is also very apparent, because there's so much context that is being provided when it is being linked from an article, that the article also has to make sense. Like why hiring Houston motorcycle or accident lawyers early can strengthen your case. Now Google knows exactly what the topic is about, and then it is being linked using the proper anchor text. So there are multiple layers of information that is being fed to the Google bot or the Google algorithm, that this article is about motorcycle accident lawyer in Houston, and then the anchor text is also mentioning that Houston motorcycle accident lawyers. So it has so much more context than if it was being just linked out from the footer or sidebar. And also when it is being linked from all of sidebar, footer, it's being linked out so many times that it also dilutes the link juice that is coming to you and the value of that link. So yes, always go for context contextual link whenever you are creating backlinks for your website. So the contextual links would be expensive, but those are the links that will move the ranking needle for you. They will get you ranked for a lot of keywords and get you all of the organic search traffic. And when you are looking for how many such links are there, you can even look for what kind of links in the backlink type. You can search for and add here in content and click here, so you will see how many in content links they have. So Johnson Garcia, all of the links that we were looking at before, they are in content link as well. People also get links from images, redirect, all of that, but what you have to aim if you want to rank for is to get link from in content contextual links. And the article topic also has to be very relevant to what you want to be ranking for. So for example, this is a good article. So if you see you want to rank for Houston motorcycle accident lawyer, we have included that keyword within the topic, and then contextually within the start of the article itself, we have linked out to the page that we want to be ranking for. And then the content, maybe the content overall word count could have been better. I think this is only maybe 200-300 word count of the article. Now with AI, I think you should cover the article itself properly, maybe give it 800 to 1000 word at the very minimum. So when you are doing a guest post, generally it's you who is providing the content to these website owners. So think of it like as if you are publishing a blog post on your own site. That is very critical. So create a really high quality content. If this page itself starts to rank for high quality keywords and it starts to get some organic search traffic, this page on from where you are getting the link, then that link becomes really high quality. So you have to understand that. So page from where you are getting a link, if that page starts to rank on its own in Google search and starts to get organic search traffic, then the value of the backlink coming from that page to you just becomes 10x more. And so one thing people also do is they look at other sites and see what are the pages that are already getting a lot of value in terms of traffic from organic search, and then they add a paragraph, small paragraph, and add a link to an already published page. These type of links are called link insertion or niche edits that we call it. So link insertion, as the name suggests, is the article was already there and you went ahead and added your link cleverly to a new paragraph or an existing paragraph. They're called link insertion. And a guest post is where you publish a new post on the site and then you linked out from it. So you have to maintain a ratio of 70-30 or 80-20, because guest posts are where, because most of the content on the internet is being produced new. So if you go overboard with link insertions, it looks again unnatural to Google. So we tried to maintain a 70-30 or 80-20 ratio of 80% guest posts and 20% link insertions. But link insertions are also a great way of actually creating high quality backlinks from the pages that are already getting a lot of organic search traffic. In this segment, we'll take a look at what do we need to do to make our Google business profile rank much more higher, and these are the prompts that we are going to use for it. So first thing first that we are going to do is we are going to build a brain inside Claude Cowork for it, and this is the prompt that we are going to use. So this is the prompt that basically tells Claude Cowork what the business that we are doing is all about, what the team size is, what are the services plus market. So what is the primary service that we do, what are the secondary services that we do, what are the service areas that we do. So this is how we build the brain inside Claude Cowork. And then the first thing that we do is we use Claude Cowork for doing GBP category audit. So as we know, categories are one of the top most important ranking factors for ranking your Google business profile, and most of the businesses get it wrong. They select the Google business profile category based on the hunch that they have. So they think, okay, because I am a roofer or I'm a law firm, this is the Google business profile category that looks the most relevant to me, so let me just select this one. But here what we are going to do is use this particular prompt, that what it does is it asks Claude Cowork to open Chrome and go to Google Maps, and it then searches for the service in that city. So let's assume you are a car accident lawyer in Houston, and then what it does, and we have also giving the keywords. If you have multiple keywords, you can give it here, or you can just give that one particular keyword, and then it's going to compare your Google business profile's primary category to all of the top 3 competitors that are there, and then it will put everything in a spreadsheet, and it's going to not only look at what your primary category is, but it is also going to look at the primary category of your top 3 competitors, and that is how it will give you an exact primary category that you should have. And so there's no guessing, no guesswork at all, and it will tell you exactly like this should be your primary category, and you'll be able to just change it. And the good thing is you can actually ask Claude Cowork to just go ahead and make that change. The only caveat here is that you need to be logged into that Google business profile using the same Google account where you have access to that Google business profile. So that is the first thing that we do using Claude Cowork or the GBP. Now the second thing that we use it for is attributes. So attributes are basically things like, does it offer online appointments, is it wheelchair accessible, is there 24/7 availability. So a lot of times your competitors have these marked on into their Google business profile and you have not marked on, even though you do offer them as those attributes. So this is the first audit that Claude does for all of your competitors, and then puts everything in a spreadsheet, and then it actually shows you whether or not you should turn them on, and then you have to do your due diligence whether or not these are relevant to you, and if you can mark them. If you can mark them, marking them on has a good impact on the ranking overall, because if someone is searching for it, and because they do show up in the Google business profile rankings. So that's one thing again that we look at. Then the next thing that we use our prompts is for competitor review tear down. So what it's going to do, Claude Cowork using this particular prompt, is it will open Chrome and go to this competitor GBP listing. So here you'll have to give the competitor GBP listings directly. The things that it will extract from those competitors is the total review count, average star rating, the review velocity. Now review velocity is such an important ranking factor. Total number of reviews is very, very important, but at the same time it's also very important for Google is how many reviews you have gotten in the last 30 days, 60 days and 90 days, because Google does not have access to your CRM, right? So how many active reviews you are getting is the way Google is able to see whether or not you are active now, or whether or not you're popular now. And that is how they understand that if the new audience currently is going to your business, and that kind of demonstrates your popularity now to Google. And then it also looks at if the reviews mention the services, it mentions the neighborhood and all of that, and then it compiles all of that and presents to you in a format that you can understand. Then another thing that we use Claude Cowork for is review response strategy. So one thing generally what businesses do is they will just respond thank you, or give very generic responses that thanks for visiting, all of that stuff. What this particular Claude prompt does is it opens Chromes and goes to our GBP listing and the competitors GBP listings, and for the last 30 reviews, what it does is it analyzes total reviews versus responses, average response time. So it looks at how much time you take to respond to a review versus how much time your competitors take to respond to a review, whether responses mention specific services, whether they mention specific locations or neighborhoods. So this will actually show you whether your competitors are getting reviews mentioned with specific services in neighborhoods and all of that. Because if are they replying, so the response strategy, so are they replying with locations embedded into it, are they replying with service name embedded into it, what is the average response length in words. This will also give you an understanding of if they're responding with like 50 words respond every time. That is also, so you do not necessarily need to copy them, but this will give you an understanding of what you are doing versus what all they are doing. And just for an SEO team or an SEO expert to do this would probably take them days to collect all of this data, which Claude Cowork can very easily do for you. So like how many negative reviews, how they are handling those negative reviews, are they apologizing or offering you solutions or getting defensive. That will give you an idea of how your competitors are actually, when they get negative reviews, how do they respond to it. All of this information, this is great information. Then next thing is GBP posting strategy. So how, again, this is not creating posts just randomly out of thin air. Again, it's every prompt you can see is starting with, first it's opening Chrome and going to your GBP listing, and then it's going to competitor GBP listing, and then it's checking the total posts that they've done in the last 90 days, what is the frequency of post, what kind of post that they're doing, does their post include images. So it's doing such a thorough analysis before it's even making a single move. That is what differentiates it from a typical AI thing, or because we have built the brain right at the start of it, then we are also building the brain at the start of every prompt, because it's looking at your Google business profile, it's looking at all of the competitors Google business profile, analyzing all of that data, and then only it's coming, and then it's putting everything in a spreadsheet, and then it's putting together a complete 8-week GBP posting calendar with all of the information that you need, is already pre-filled and everything with all of the CTAs and all. So this is how we are using. Then the next thing that we're using it for is service section optimization. So for services section, another thing that I see most Google Business Profile lack is in the services section, they have not filled in all of the services, or the services do not have proper descriptions, or the descriptions are not keyword rich, all of that. So again, it starts with taking a look at our GBP and the competitors GBP, and it will extract all of the services that they have listed and what the descriptions they have, are they keyword rich, and then finally it will write a fully optimized description for all of our services, the Google Business Profile that you have given, and each one should be at least 2-3 sentences and 40 to 60 words. Naturally include the primary service keyword. So it is so well optimized that you can then just directly copy and paste it into your services section, and that just doing these exercises itself would have such a massive impact on the Google Business Profiles rankings, and you will see massive ranking jumps happening across all of the keywords, because you are doing so much stuff. You are replying to the reviews, you are adding to Google Business Profile post, you are adding to the services, editing descriptions, all of that. Similarly, here is GBP description optimization. So your main description, mostly it lacks keywords, it lacks services, it lacks the location, all of that. So even for this one, I know I'm repeating myself, but it starts with looking at your GBP, the competitors, what is it that they have written, and then after analyzing all of the top ranking competitors, it comes up with version 1, and it actually is going to give you 3 versions, so you can understand. Then you select the version that is actually best out of all of those 3 versions, and just you have so much options to pick from out of those 3 versions, whatever seems more natural and has all of the keywords incorporated into it. So you have to just make sure it has all of the right services, it has all of the right locations incorporated into it, and it also reads natural. So you have to make sure that it does not read too much SEO optimized, because ultimately it is going to be read by a human, because people do read your service description to understand what is it that you do. So yes, it has to be SEO optimized, yes, it needs to have the right keywords and everything, but ultimately it's not only for the bots, it's also for the humans. So ensure that it is not way too much SEO optimized and it starts reading spammy. So that is very, very important. And then it also does GBP photo audit for you. But the GBP photo audit, as the prompt kind of suggests, what it's going to do is it going to look at your profile and the competitor's profile to see how many photos you have uploaded in total in the last 30 days versus how many photos your competitor has uploaded in the last 30 days, what sort of photos these are, whether they look like stock photos, all of that stuff, and give you a very detailed analysis of that, and then tell you exactly what you should do from a Google Business Profile perspective. In this segment, I'm going to show you some of the outputs that we were able to get from Claude Cowork. And so for example, this particular prompt that I gave it, what I asked is open Chrome and go to these particular competitors. The goal for this particular one was I wanted it to come up with a GBP posting strategy for 4-week and 8-week, like a full post calendar for our business. So you remember we have built a brain already in Claude Cowork. So what I gave it was all of the competitors, and I asked it to do a complete forensic analysis of the competitors Google Business Profile posting analysis, and look at what have they posted, what day of the week they were posting, what kind of post was it, an offer post, update post, event post, word count, what kind of CTAs are they using, the topic and service mentioned, everything that they are doing, so that we have complete understanding of what is it that they are doing, and then analyze the patterns and tell me what day of the week we should be posting and what is it that we should be posting, all of that. So then, and generate a premium looking PDF report as the output. So you can see now Claude has given us this particular output, and you can see it has done the full analysis here for all of the competitors of ours. And now it is also, if you scroll here, it is giving us that the cadence is 2 posts per week. That is what we should be doing based on the other competitors that we have, and which is Monday plus Thursday, and between 7 to 9 a.m. CT is what when we should be posting. The post type mix should be 50% post update, 25% educational, 15% offer. All of this Just this exercise would have taken so much time for any SEO team to do. And then if you look here, it has also given you all of the posts. So now all you need to do is give this to your SEO team, or you can yourself just post, open up Google Business Profile, click on the post section and just post it. Or you can even ask Claude to just go ahead and post it for yourself. So that is the difference between Claude Cowork or any other AI, that it not only just did the whole analysis for your competitors first, it just analyzed all of your competitors, it analyzed your own Google Business Profile, and it came up with a strategy that is very, very relevant to your niche and industry. So this is not a generic Google Business posting strategy that for any business it should work. This is very, very strategic for your case, because it saw that the businesses that are in your niche, that are ranking for your keywords, are doing 1 to 2 Google Business Profile posts a week. So that is what it came up with, and it is giving you an 8-week posting strategy and exact posts that you can copy and paste, and then you can use ChatGPT or Google Gemini to even generate the images to go with it. Having said that, what I would recommend is you don't use stock images or AI generated images for it, but rather real images of you doing work with your customers and things like that. So real images actually have much better chances of getting a CTA, and it is a better signal to Google, because if you're using stock images, Google can clearly tell that these are stock images. But here you can see it is giving you all of the posts and everything that you need to know, and this is the whole thing. So you can see from one prompt, it not only just generated the whole GBP posting strategy, it gave it to you in a great looking PDF report. So it just one-shotted everything for you, for that matter. This was one of the thing. Then next one that I want to show you is GBP attributes gap audit, and these were the prompts that we just talked about before in the video, but I want to show you the output of these prompts here. So for this one, attributes are basically the things that get highlighted, things like whether Google Business is wheelchair accessible, are they LGBTQ friendly. So what we asked Claude Cowork to do is look at all of the Google Business profiles that are our competitor, and look at what are the things that they have that we don't have as an attribute, and it found out everything that they have and what are missing from us. Now as a business owner, you would know and you would understand much better what are the things that we need to add as attributes to our business, but it is doing the whole research for you. It is coming up with everything that you are missing. And one important thing is these are the things that get highlighted very much into your Google Business Profile. So if someone is looking for a keyword like car accident attorney in Austin, for example, and if you are LGBTQ friendly, that gets highlighted into the Google Business Profile. So for a second it catches the eye of the searcher, and just that microsecond is enough for them to actually get the attention and give you a call. So if these are the things, but you know your business better than Claude or better than anyone else for that matter, that whether or not you are wheelchair accessible, whether it's LGBTQ friendly, whether you have free parking lot, all of that stuff. But if it is there and if your competitors have marked it, then all the more reason that you should be marking it as an attribute in your Google Business Profile as well. So all of this information and all of this analysis is done by Claude from your Google Business Profile, and it is presented to you in a nice looking PDF report that you can understand very quickly. And then you can actually tell Claude Cowork that okay, just go ahead and mark these into my Google Business Profile. All you need to be doing is you need to be logged into the right Google Business account where your Google Business Profile is marked. So you just need to open that up into Chrome and just keep an eye on it when Claude is doing it for you, because it's still an AI at the end of the day. So yes, it's a Ferrari, but it still needs to be driven by a human. So it can do it for you, but just keep an eye on it and it will go ahead and add those attributes to you. Just mention to it that okay, these are the few attributes that are applicable in my case, and go ahead and add these to my profile on Chrome. I've opened up my Google Business Profile for you, and that way it will be able to add everything for you. The next one is primary categories. Category audit is one of the top ones, as we had discussed. So with this particular prompt, what the output it is going to give you is what are the primary categories and secondary categories for any particular type of business or any particular keyword that you want to rank for. So let's assume for this one you wanted to rank for roofing contractor or roof. So this here, if you see the keyword that it has analyzed is roof replacement Austin, Texas. Similarly, in your case it could be car accident attorney Austin, and then it is showing you that the primary category for all of your competitor is roofing contractor. So if you want to also rank your Google Business Profile, your primary category also has to be roofing contractor. If this is the keyword that you want to rank for, you won't be able able to rank with another primary category for this particular keyword, because all of the other ranking site has the same roofing contractor as the primary category. And now all of the secondary categories also it has listed, and what is the rating, what is the total number of reviews, all of the extraction of data and collection of data it has just done for you in within minutes, which would have taken you hours just to do. And now you have crystal clear decision, and if you see here, it is telling you everything, that what is your clear choice for primary category. Here if you see it, it is giving you everything, all of the choices for secondary categories as well. So the primary category clear choice is here in this case that it should be a roofing contractor, and all of the secondary categories it is also mentioning here. Again, take it with a grain of salt, that what are the secondary categories that you want to add, as what are the services that you provide. So if are you a real estate builder or construction company, your competitor may be, and that is one of the reason why they have added it. But just because your competitor has added it does not mean that should be your secondary category as well. A secondary category only has to be added if it is relevant in your case. If you actually do that service, then only go ahead and add those secondary categories. Claude's work was to actually collect all of that data and present it to you so that you can make an informed decision, and you can then go ahead and do a back and forth chat with Claude by just giving it back this PDF and ask whether, in my case, just look at my website and see all of the services that I provide. And we have already created a brain about our business in Claude Cowork anyways, so we can ask it directly that does a real estate builder and construction company secondary category apply in my case, and Claude would very promptly tell you that no, it does not apply in your case. So you can always do back and forth with Claude Cowork there to understand what specifically applies in your case and what does not apply. So you have to use your kind of common sense and brain there, because yes, Claude Cowork will put all of that data and present it to you, but how do you make sense of that data is equally important, because if you're not a real estate builder and construction company, you should not be adding it to your secondary category just because your competitor has it. So that is where it's very, very important as well. So yes, you can see this is the whole video. This is how we are using it for backlinks. This is how we are using it for on-page SEO. This is how we are using it for everything. Anyway, if you got some value from this one, hit the like button. It really helps the channel grow. Drop a comment below with any of your questions. I read each comment and try and reply to each one of your questions with a very detailed answer. So make sure you drop your questions in the comments below. And subscribe if you want more AI and SEO related content every week. By the way, we took one business from $0 to $1.7 billion in revenue just through SEO in 11 months. If you want results like that for your business, link to book a call with us at Alventra Marketing is in the description. See you in the next one.